Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cascasdia Kayak Angler. Today I'm at Silver Lake in southwest Washington in pursuit of fall crappie. Now every fall at Silver Lake, the crappie move out of the main body of the lake and migrate and congregate in the canals on the northeastern shore of the lake. These canals are relatively shallow, anywhere from 2 to 6 feet in depth. And you can find crappie throughout these canals in very large numbers. Both white and black crappie will congregate here, as well as yellow perch and bluegill. So today I'm going to use a variety of methods to target these fish, and I expect to connect with several hundred of them as they're relatively easy to catch. It's a nice sized crappie here. There you go, that's a white crappie. Almost no black speckling down the side, they just have a few weak bars. Really pretty. The best time to target these fish is generally in mid to late October through the early part of November as large crappie move into these canals. Now Silver Lake has a limit of 10 crappie and they have to be in excess of 9 inches in length, but it doesn't matter what species it is. Take a fish on. The crappie. This is a black crappie. You can tell the black crappie from the white crappie. The black have these stripes, these black speckles down through the whole body. Let's talk a little bit about the setup I'm using today. I'm just using a slip bobber here, static slip bobber. We can slide up down using these surgical tubing. Got a little split shot underneath that. I'm just using a small yellow trout magnet, chartreuse trout magnet, and a little bit heavier tube jig head on there just to get down a little faster. 2 feet underneath the bobber is all you need. Most of these canals are just a little bit deeper than 3 feet, and the crappie seem to suspend just a little bit off the bottom. The yellow perch will be right on the bottom, so if you want to target them, go a little deeper. And that's all it is. It's a very simple setup. You want a very sensitive bobber because these crappie do bite very softly. So a lot of times I'll cast out if I don't get a hit immediately. I'll start a little bit of twitch on the bobber. You can add a little action to it. And sometimes I'll have to get them to take the bite. Other times you can do a slow retrieve. There we go. There we go. That's a nice one. Nice big fat crappie. There we go. See how big the mouths are on these crappie, but they're paper thin, so it's real easy to lose them. They're gorgeous. Pretty fish. Now there are other ways to target these crappie here at Silver Lake other than just using a traditional spinning outfit or bait casting outfit and bobber. You can try just twitching jigs, that is just throwing out small tube jigs and twitching them through the water column, and you'll catch fish that way. You can also do fly fishing. Crappie will quite readily take a fly, especially a brightly colored one. So today I'm going to use a Japanese style fly fishing known as Tenkara. The rods are quite small. They telescope and collapse in and out. And it's a fixed line, so there's no reel, unlike Western style fly fishing. It's kind of a fun way to connect with fish, and it's perfect for this crappie fishery because most of the time you're hooking fish within 15 or so feet of the boat anyways, and they'll quite readily hit lures right adjacent to the boat. So it's a long, flexible rod, and I've tied up my own crappie Cascasdia fly, which is a reverse hackle fly, which should pulse nicely underwater. Got a bright chartreuse body and orange hackle on it. So we'll see how we do with this. I've never done it, but I imagine it's going to go quite well, as I've had great luck with crappie on flies elsewhere. So the first thing I have to do is attach the fixed line, which is actually just a colored fluorocarbon, to the end here, to this little piece of red rope, which we call the Lillian. And I just use an overhand slip knot for that. There we go. Got one more line. I just wrap that through this little cinch knot twice, and it works just fine. There we go, I got that attached. I have this handy little spool which allows me to keep all my lines. Keep 2 lines pre-tied and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and start getting this pull ready. Rod. And so they just kind of, these pieces each lock into each other. This is a 12-foot rod. And as you can see, the rod is quite limber at the tip, so highly sensitive. And I'm just running this on this fluorocarbon line, which is called level line, and then at the end I have a 2-foot section of leader, which is really just tippet or monofilament that's about 4 pound thick. We'll see how this fly does. Need to get it to it. Alright. Hopefully I put enough weight on that to fly. Letting that sink slowly. I kind of have to watch how the orange level line behaves to determine if I've got a bite. There's one right there. All right. Great. Fantastic. That works so easy. And then I'm just going to bring this crappie up here. Well, that was fun and easy. So there we go. Really like that orange fly. Orange and chartreuse. Let's try that again. Pretty cool. Well, I've been out here several hours and quickly approaching 500 fish mark for the day. Probably gonna call it quits soon. I'm still catching fish every 30-40 seconds right now. I encourage everybody to get out here and try out this fishery. It's a great fishery to do with kids. It's also a great fishery just to get out and learn your kayak. It's really easy to do. There's tons of fish. Just pick a nice day in the fall or in October. There's plenty of little crappie and bluegill to go around. And just remember that there's a 10 fish crappie limit, and the crappie need to be above 9 inches. It doesn't matter what species. And always wear your PFD, and if the weather's cold, dress for immersion. Until next time.